Hi everyone, I forgot to mention throughout the video about Globleland products. I am using the Globleland stencils today, and the product link is in the description below. As well, there is a code there that if you go to make a purchase from Globleland, whether you're purchasing the stencils or any other products, if you use my code, it's Kim10, I believe that's how it is, or 10 Kim, one or the other. If you use my code, you will be able to go to Globeland and get a 10% discount. So, it's a win-win for everybody because I am an affiliate for them. So if you make a purchase, of course, I'm going to get a small incentive for you making the purchase. And it also helps the company as well to get new customers and make more sales. So it's a win for everybody, including 10% off for you. So yeah, that was just something I forgot to mention at the end of the video. So I'm mentioning it now at the beginning. So now you can go and watch the video and see how I use these stencils. Bye for now. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Kim here. And today is our Globeland review of these stencils that I bought, or that I got received from them. I think this is a package of 20. I'm not going to count them again, but I think it's either a package of 16 or a package of 20. And as you can see, I've already been playing with these. And my project today is on stenciling with paints and mark making, kind of dot making, line making, mark making on our projects. And I'm using book pages as my paper base, but you can use whatever you like. And, we've all seen mark making where, they put brush marks and dots and lines. And I've done my share of that as well. But what I like about the stencils is we're going to start out with a stencil and then we're going to expand on the stencil afterwards. And the stencil allows you to have a little bit of structure, but not really, but just a little bit, just to give you a basic design plan. And, we've worked with stencils in other ways. In fact, Brenda today has a video up on working with stencils with inks and paints as well. Completely different look and equally gorgeous. So we've worked with them with inks, we've worked with them with paints and our texture paints and all kinds of other materials. And so I just thought I'd show you a painting technique that I like to use with stencils. It's something I've done freehand on fabric, but the stencil, like I said, it gives you the opportunity to be a little bit more structured. Sort of like a little bit like Zentangles in a sense, and mark making mixed together. Now, I've got a jelly plate. I haven't experimented with the jelly plate. And the actual real reason I bought these is to lay them down on top of coffee stain paper, probably in the exact size of the stencil, because this way there won't be any line marks from the stencil square. And just have this design show up on the coffee stain paper. You know how it causes sort of like a resist. So that is my main plan for using these, and I will probably do another video later this summer, weather permitting, outdoors, where I show this in progress. Sort of like I'll probably do some avocado dyeing and some coffee staining, and I will show you how I use these in that method. But for now, I just figured I would show you some different ones that you can do painting. So I'm going to put some of these aside. Kind of wanted to do this one. Well, maybe this one first. Oh, I like that one too. And I have some finished ones to show you as well, but I will wait and show you afterwards because that's way more fun. So I'm just going to line up my stencil, and I'm kind of working in the same, I'm just working with acrylic paints, nothing fancy. And I'm kind of working in the same color schemes, kind of a teal, blue, purple, and then kind of orangey, rusty gold shades. Mostly because these are colors that I want to work in very, very soon. And my palette, I just broke the top of this, but I think I got another bottle somewhere that I can fix. And my palette that I'm using here is just a plastic meat tray or food tray. I've got some of that blue. I think I'll put some of this purple. Now I have an assortment of tools here. I've got some stenciling brushes, a very soft brush that I would use for doing some spray dots afterwards, and a very fine brush here. Oh, I just need some more tissue. This is what I keep all those napkin parts for. A little bit of water here in case I want to dilute something, but I'm using very, very fine brush. I hope you can see here. That's for just drawing some lines. And then I do have a stylus here for making dots, but I tend to use this for making dots, but I will show you both ways. So the first thing I want to do is line up my stencil where I want it. I kind of like this, the tortoise and the hare, so I'm gonna leave that visible for now. And I wanted to get some purple paint. I've got blue and I've got kind of the teal there. And I don't follow the lines. I just let whatever happen happen. So I'm going to take a little bit of the blue on my brush. And I don't care if it slops out. I don't care if it leaks underneath. That is not the point. If I wanted this to be perfect, I would create it on my computer and print out the creation on paper. I want it to look, you know, organic, if that's a word. Maybe primitive is more the word. So I've just painted the center in the blue, but I'm going to go into this teal green here. And I'm just going to catch the ends of the flower I just did with the teal. So you can see I'm not worried about it matching and following in the lines. I'll be surprised if it all shows up when I take the stencil off. And that's because, you know, if you get caught up on perfect, nothing ever gets done, right? And it's what we do afterwards that makes it perfect and makes it look amazing. So now I've got a little bit of purple. I didn't follow all the way through here, but the teal, I mean. Now I'm going right into the purple, and I don't care if the colors get mixed and if it turns this color a little bit off because of the purple. This is just how I like to use them. And yeah, it's painful to watch. Hopefully we'll do this pretty quickly. And just for fun, I'll go back and add a little bit of purple in there. And back to the blue. I see some of the purple still coming out, but that's okay. And this is just to create a fun, multicolored piece. And there's still some of that purple coming through from the brush. And then I'm going to go back into the teal. I hope you're catching all of this here. I should move up just a little bit. So I'm working right out of a book. I've taken the cover off the book and I'm just going to continue on these pages. It is a fairy tale. I'm just going to lift my finger off there for a second. I need a little bit more of this. It is a fairy tale book, so every once in a while there are some really nice colored pages that I will take out separately to use in journals. Now what's fun about this is that when the pages are done, you can either use it as a page in your book, in a journal, or you can scan the images and print them out however you want, which is probably what I'll do. And if I do that, I'll make my pieces available for you to download for free and print them out how you like. Now these are available from Globeland, and they came as a set of 20, and the prices were very good on these. Don't ask me what they were, but for a set of 16 to 20, whatever it was, I was quite pleased with the pricing. So now I'm just going to go back to the purple and finish this off. Aren't you getting excited to see what it's going to look like? Hopefully not a big hot mess. And like I said, some of it will seep underneath. That's okay. We will not necessarily correct it, but we will make it look less noticeable. And just to finish it off there. And I think I've got it all covered. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to stick that in there because I won't need that for a while now. All right, so I'm just going to lift up this one corner here and pull it apart, and ta-da! It's not bad. You know, I did seep through a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to rest this somewhere where I know I'm not going to touch it or step on it in the next little while because it's very sticky and very wet. So this is where, I see I have a little blob of paint there. I'm just going to, there. This is where I play with dot making and line making and stuff to further enhance this. I mean, it's nice the way it is. You know, it's a little bit filled in. I didn't catch, I put a little too much paint that it's seeped underneath, but that's okay. So I'm going to just turn this tray around so I don't get into those two colors or three colors right now. I'm going to put a little bit of gold on my plate here. And I just let these colors run one into the next when I'm working. And if you get to the point where you fill in your whole tray and you let it harden, I would let it harden for a couple of days. You can peel it right off of here and because it's acrylic paints, and you're left with this really cool piece of acrylic plastic paint that you can use for die cutting, or you know, you can cut it up into strips. It's kind of a fun piece to play with, which is what I usually use. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you how I outline these. Now I've just put a little bit on my brush, and I don't worry if there's too much. If I do have a little bit of an extra bit, I will just put a dot somewhere just to get me started. So I've taken off the excess paint, and I'm just going to outline this leaf. Going around the edges. And then I'm making this little swirly thing. I don't know if, can you see that? I've just gone around and I made a little swirl thing there. And there's my little dot of the excess paint that I had on my brush, because I didn't want a great big blob to land somewhere. Not that it's the worst thing in the world. And then I'm going to go on and do the next one here. And bring this around. And since I've ended there, I'm going to just keep going like this. And since I have a dot there, I'm going to put a couple of gold dots in here and a couple in the space in here too. And just ever so slightly turn this around. And watch that you don't spill your water, Kim, because that would make a really hot mess. And then taking my paint again, my gold paint, I'm just going to go around. And where the paint has seeped out, I kind of went around it to make it look like it's part of the design. So that it's following the mistakes as well as the stencil. And then doing the next one. So this one I kind of blobbed right into the whole piece there. But that's okay. By the time we're done, nobody's going to really notice. I think I'll pull it from here. And put a few little gold dots in here as well. Now I'm just using my brush, but if you wanted to use a stylus, that's the thing with the little balls on the either end. And you have to practice and you have to play with it to get a good idea of how well it works. So I'm just dipping it into my paint. So I got a nice big blob on my stylus. And the thing with this is that you start to make dots by pressing it down onto your paper. And the dots will eventually get smaller and smaller. Until they completely, you run out of paint. And just to show you what that looks like, I'm going to bring it up a little closer for you to see. Hopefully you can see my dots here, where my finger is. But I'm also already getting bored of working with the gold, so I'm going to go back and grab some blue. And I'm just going to do, in the same area where I've done some of these gold dots, I'm going to put some blue ones. I'm just using my brush. The only thing with using the brush is they're not always structured because it depends on how quickly you lift your brush up. And I don't do the same thing on each one. I might just put them randomly. I might just come along here and put one on either side of this little squiggly thing I made. And you can see how it's starting to change. I think I'm going to put one in the center of this squiggly there. And you can see how it's starting to change a little bit. And I can play on this for hours. Now there are these little blue dots in between each of the sort of, I guess, the leaf pattern. I'll come back and do something with those. I realize it's the same color, so I can't do the same thing in the same color. We won't see it. But maybe in the purple I could do some blue ones. And I don't get caught up on matching things. So I move on somewhere else. And I prefer to use my brush to the stylus, but that's just me. So let's go back. Where are those blue dots? Let's see. I'm going to put one here, one in there. The only thing that I'm kind of staying consistent with is I am outlining the whole outside in gold because that's where you want a little bit of structure. And if you make a mistake, you just add another dot or another line. And I will continue to play with this for a long time. It's very therapeutic to do this. I wouldn't want to do it every day. I don't need to color that much. Like I said, I would just as soon color on the computer. But because I like this look, and, you know, it's just something different to play with. I'll probably work on these for a couple of days, different ones. Okay, I haven't played with the teal, so I'm going to come back now and do a few little teal dots in here. Put one there, and just for fun, I'll put them all around the outside here. So you can see that this is, it's like watching paint dry, isn't it? But the more you get going with it, the more interesting this gets as you go along. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of purple. I'm not going to spend too much time with this, showing you this, but I have to show you as we go along how they progress. And you don't have to do just dots. You can add some little swirlies. Let's add something here. And a mistake is just another idea. And just let it happen. And then you can go back with the green and put a green dot in there. And maybe a gold dot in this one. And then we'll just take a little bit more green and put in here. And I don't clean my brush in between each time either. But you can see now how the page is starting to build up with the different colors. So going back to the gold, I'm just going to quickly outline this one. This is probably not normally how I would run my brush. Usually I would turn it around and make it a little bit easier. And I have a little bit of extra paint there, so I'm going to just bring that out. Switch colors. And I could go on and on, but I'm sure you're getting bored by now. So I will finish this one later off camera. And I'm just going to quickly show you some of the ones that I've done or that I'm working on. For example, this one I have done the outlining of the gold, and that's all I've done because I didn't have any paint handy at the time, or I hadn't opened up any of the other colors. So now I've got a little bit of red here. I'm going to go in and add in some dots. And this one I did do some splatter spraying, which I'm going to do I don't like how that one turned out, so I'm just going to make it bigger. And this one has that purple in there. And it's got kind of a yellowy gold color in there too. Yeah, not the most interesting project to be showing, which is probably why I don't do a lot of painting projects. I used to paint a lot of flowers, and I will be offering a little class on some flower painting eventually, but not till I think a little later. And so you can see that adding in these dots and other little interest points, how it changes the look and makes you less aware that it's imperfect. It still creates balance because it has the structure of the stencil itself. But that by adding in the other elements and swirls and squiggles and little bits and pieces, it takes away from the fact that it's not perfect. But it's not supposed to be perfect, right? It's organic. And also, if you hadn't noticed yet, I haven't outlined this in the gold. I just left that just to show you how different it looks when the gold is done and when it's not. I used to paint a lot of fabric like this years ago. I kind of gotten away from it, where I would paint different abstract items and then outline it with gold or silver or something to really something metallic to really make it stand out. And the other thing I did too was I outlined the paper by just taking a little bit of the paint and running it along the edge of the paper. Another little moment of silence. But already you can see with the dots how it's changing the look. And I'm going to continue to work on these off camera without you. Because, there's only so much pain that you can take. Now this one, after I did it, I cut it out. So this one is still drying because I went back and added some of this blue on here. But these are just fun elements now that I can use in my journals. And I kind of worked in the same kind of colors that I have on the palette here so that they could be crossed back and forth. And I will probably scan them as I go along to be able to use them over and over again. Here are a couple more that are ready to be painted. So this one I just have a little bit of gold splatter. Same with this one, I have a little bit of gold splatter. And to do that, all I did is I took my soft brush, just the very, very soft brush here, and I just dipped it in some water and made a little puddle and then added some of the gold into it. And let's see, do I have one that's not done yet? Yeah, I do. Although I don't know that it would show up on that one. So I'm just going to continue to work on this one. And I'm going to add a little bit more water here. Even though the water's a little bit different color. And then just holding the brush, I usually just tap it. And that gives you the gold splatter across there. I actually like that long strip that just came out. Really nice. And then once this is dry, I can go back and do some outlining and stuff around it. But I noticed that the red doesn't show up as much, or I mean the gold doesn't show up as much. And because there is this red once upon a time, I'm going to take some of my red paint and mix it into there. and add a little bit of water. And just go by with the red. More. I'll be washing paint off of things here for weeks. So there, now I have a little bit more of the red, which is perfect for this Once Upon a Time. And I will continue to build on this one off of camera. Same with this one. I will build on these off of camera, but I will show you a couple more that I've done. So the other thing that I did is once I finished painting and I decided that's it, it's done, is I coffee stained it. I let it dry completely. And this morning I got up and I coffee stained over top of this. This is one of the ones here. So that's dry. I can put it underneath. I did this one. I love this one. I love the color of this. And again, I just went around the edges of the paper. This was torn out. You know, it didn't work out perfectly, but I just followed the edge anyway. And I will continue to play with these a little bit more. This one has a few more dots and squiggles. But yeah, I think they turned out pretty nice. And this one is my absolute favorite this time around, except I think the one that's on the ground that we just did together is going to be my new favorite. But I love how the colors turned out on this. And so again, this can be cut up. It can be folded in half. It can be made into a little booklet. It could be just another page in your journal. It can be cut up into pieces for tags. And I would incorporate these type of fabrics and colors in that I would choose from my fabric stash. A lot of times too, if you're doing stuff like this and you've got, say, a piece of fabric you want to match, I would bring the fabric out, pull those paints out so that you're matching your fabric with the paper that you create. So that's, I've just got a few more here I'll show you quickly. This one it's a work in progress. I just stenciled and then I cut it out. And so now I'm going to go back and follow the lines. I did a little bit more design where I did, the whole thing was painted and then I just went in and filled in with a little bit of the red afterwards. And that I used a fine brush on. Here I've just used the stencil plain on this music sheet, and I will probably go back and just do only gold on top of here, or silver, but I'm thinking more likely gold. So that's just to give you a few ideas. I could go on and show you the same thing, but it's just the same thing, right? So there's no point in showing you more. Let's keep it short and sweet. You get the idea, and then on Friday when I do my follow-up, I will let you see all of these because hopefully I'm going to play for the rest of the afternoon, and hopefully by then I will have them all done and be able to show them all to you. So that's it for today. Tomorrow is Techniques Tuesday, and it's our jewelry series starting. Tomorrow will be where we sort the jewelry that I got in that great big bag and come up with different plans of what we're going to make with it. So that will kind of be the deciding factor as to how many segments we have in the series of jewelry, because I will only do one per day kind of thing as we go along. And then Wednesday, I have a couple of Happy Mail. I will probably send them out this week anyway, but I'm going to wait till Wednesday to see what else shows up on Wednesday for Happy Mail. Thursday will be my Thrifty Canucks video for my thrift haul, and hopefully we're going to get into that either the other box or the third suitcase, one of the two. And then already Friday will be follow-up, and I'll have to have all of this done. So that's it. That's all. I wish you all a very creative week. And it's Monday here in New Brunswick. The sun is doing its best to shine. Grass is starting to get green and birds are chirping. So I think it's official. We can say winter is now behind us. Have yourself a very creative day and a creative week. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now.